Prison classification and correctional programming. Importance of the prison classification process. In the field of prison work, several principles are directly related to risks, which is the basis for the need to classify prisons. Some criminals who have been convicted pose different dangers, and in this regard, the importance of prison classification is visible. In addition, prison functioning will succeed if the classification is clearly developed and defined. The classification system determines where criminals will be placed, how many staff will work with them, as well as what services will be provided to them. Classification will also help reduce the number of escapes, various dangerous incidents between prisoners, and clashes with prison staff. Prison programming is necessary precisely to eliminate all possible risks associated with prisoners, as well as to establish order in correctional institutions. Evolution of prison programs. The evolution of correctional institutions originates from the meager detention of prisoners, which later often ended with the death penalty. Then the justice and prison service system were transformed, and the stage began in which prisoners were sorted by type of crime. In the future, this became the basis for the risk assessment program. In addition, in modern times, prisoners are actively being prepared for assimilation back into society. This happens through regular work with psychologists, and active work on the territory of prisons. Preparing inmates for reintegration into society. Those prisoners who have spent a significant amount of time in prison need more severe preparation for going back into society. For such criminals, various artificial conditions of self-government are created under which they are given different situations, and under the control of employees, convicts must find a solution. They are controlled but also provide the opportunity to feel responsible for their lives. Prisoners need social adaptation after their release, among other things, to help them become independent again. There is also treatment for drug addiction and alcoholism, which is compulsory. There are cases when there is a reduction in prison funding, which often negatively affects prisoners. Thus, healthcare costs are reduced within the walls of correctional institutions, and some prisoners do not receive the necessary number of medical services. In addition, the quality of nutrition decreases, which can also lead to various health problems. Funding in the field of psychological work, as well as in the field of combating drug addiction and alcoholism, is often reduced, which deprives prisoners of the opportunity to receive the necessary help. Various programs aimed at socialization and rehabilitation suffer from changes or innovations that have no positive basis. Impact of changes in correctional programming. In general, changes are a necessary part of the work of prison institutions since it is through transformations that order and accurate results with criminals can be achieved. Nevertheless, these changes should be gradual and should be implemented without harm to both convicts and prison staff. Funding should also be continuous, as it is obvious that it entails exclusively negative consequences that are reflected not only in the prisoner's self-release but also in society after the convict is released from custody. Conclusion. In conclusion, the prison classification process is an essential part of the work of correctional institutions because, thanks to it, the order is established in prisons, and all other functions work following the norms. Prisons are necessary to correct criminals and help them further assimilate into society. This is done in various ways, such as psychological work, self-management programs, and many others that help prisoners on their way to correction and socialization.